KBC Channel 1 imeandaa vipindi spesheli katika mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhan mwaka huu kwa ajili yako.
Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kando na ukumbi wa Kiislamu na hutuba ya Ijumaa, kutakuwa na makala yanayoangazia masuala ya funga, mawaidha,
whosoever witnesses the month of Ramadan, then he should fast.
Vipindi vya mapishi.
Katika mapishi ya Ramadhani tutatayarisha pilau ya korosho. Utahitaji viazi, vitunguu vinne vikubwa, na zabibu
na kaswida mbalimbali. Pia tumekuandalia kalenda ya Ramadhan ili kukuweka kwenye mstari wa mbele katika funga yako. Tazama runinga ya KBC Channel 1 katika mwezi huu mtukufu wa Ramadhan ili kukuza na kuhifadhi imani yako.
Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. 'Cause it's the eye of the tiger, is the team of the fire.
Julia, hapo umeuma nje ya ukweli. Yani umeuma nje nga.
I do not want to be introduced in Kiswahili, especially by Julia. I demand to be introduced in English.
And now let me tell you something. If you keep on collecting me when there is no need, tutashindana na wewe sako kwa mbako.
Mtazamaji, fahari watatu ameingia kwenye masindano. Na kama wewe mtazamaji, toa dictionary.
Classmates.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter. Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm actually working on it right now as you speak here.
I can fire you anytime. I have the rights to.
And you wait for that day.
Fanya kitu ilikuleta huku. And that's work.
You think that the company doesn't have a future?
No, sir, you've got it all wrong.
It's not specified when I'll be getting my goods. That depends on the type of goods.
I think Alice told her dad that I was trying to avoid her.
And you will tell me if you tried anything, right?
You will regret ever meeting Mr. Kaikara!
I am not scared of you!
Millicent is trying to get rid of me.
And I thought I had closed that deal.
Mfuate.
Take care of that wakili.
And track him to his whereabouts.
We had a deal, kijana.
I started modeling when I was
during COVID time. The journey in modeling has been very nice. I want to achieve I can own my own beauty company to sell clothes for models, gowns, and also a beauty shop which sells products for kids.
I think I see Elmo somewhere. Well, the book is Count Your Chicken.
I saw that you could say any other soy I ever saw. I saw that you could say any other soy I ever saw.
Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some viazi rice. This is an easy recipe and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it.
Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. Cause it's the eye of the tiger, is the team of the fire.
Julia, hapo umeuma nje ya ukweli. Hani umeuma nje nga.
I do not want to be introduced in Kiswahili, especially by Julia. I demand to be introduced in English.
And now let me tell you something. If you keep on collecting me when there is no need, tutashindana na wewe zako kwa mbako.
Mtazamaji, fahari watatu ameingia kwenye masindano. Na kama wewe mtazamaji, toa dictionary.
Classmates.
Differently. I use swimming much for competition purposes. I use for therapy purposes.
Prosthetic legs represent more than just a physical instrument. They symbolize the restoration of independence.
Nimejitolea kusaidia wengine. Niko na hiyo roho ya utu kusaidia msichana mlemavu mwenzangu. Pia mimi niko na hiyo ulemavu.
Differently.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to Easy Friday. On this International Women's Day, I'd like to take this opportunity to just express my gratitude to those women who continue to fight for gender equality, who continue to champion for women empowerment, and of course for the resilience, for the strength that is the indomitable spirit of a woman. I'd like to wish you a very happy International Women's Day. Keep shining, keep thriving, and keep raising that flag high. Of course, if you're watching and if you are a woman, just feel proud of yourself this day for how far you've come and how far this journey is yet to take you as we continue to just be beautiful, resilient, strong, powerful women. That's my message right here on Easy Friday. I am Shiksha Arora. You're watching KBC Channel 1. The sign language interpreter is Brian Muraru. And on this International Women's Day, President William Ruto also had a very special message for the girl child, for women. And I'll be telling you what that is later on. For now, though, it's time for the highlights. You are the engine of progress. President Ruto's message to Kenyan women on the International Women's Day. Reaping big. all government electronic and broadcast advertisements to be channeled through Kenya Broadcasting Corporation platforms. And changes at the Kenya Defence Forces. Lieutenant General Charles Kahariri appointed KDF Vice Chair as Lieutenant General David Kimayo takes over as Kenya Army Commander. Welcome to Easy Friday. You're watching KBC Channel 1. I am Shiksha Arora. And tonight's top story. President William Ruto says the inclusion and active engagement of women in leadership is essential in accelerating the country's progress. Now, he was speaking at the Moi Stadium in Embu County during the celebration that is to mark the International Women's Day. And the president said his administration will expand empowerment of women to further their full, robust and effective participation in the country's decision-making. We'll bring that story for you in a moment. But before that, we absolutely have some good news, of course, as the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation that has lauded the decision to have all government electronic and broadcast advertisements channeled through its platforms. KBC Acting Managing Director Paul Masharia has now said the directive by the Ministry of ICT and the Digital Economy will not only help the corporation continue with its modernization agenda, but also enhance the broadcaster's ability to inform the public on matters of national importance with dedication, professionalism and commitment. Take a look.
Principal Secretary in the State Department of Broadcasting and Telecommunications, Professor Edward Kisiangani, made the announcement on Friday, saying centralizing public sector advertising will re-energize the broadcaster. In a statement, Kisiangani added that the strategies would align with the government's policy of reviving public sector entities and ensuring that any public-private partnership is not skewed against public sector institutions.
This directive by the Ministry of ICT and the Digital Economy will not only help bridge its budget shortfalls, but also help the corporation continue with its modernization agenda.
KBC will leverage on this new assignment by tapping on its broadening reach through its 13 radio stations, 7 sub-services and 2 TV stations serving the country both in national and local dialects, thus enhancing its position as a public service communicator.
The management of KBC welcomes other corporate bodies to join hands in advertising in any of the available platforms to reach wider Kenya. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, with its widest reach at the state-of-the-art infrastructure, has the capability to relay all electronic and broadcast advertisements as directed by the government.
Currently, as part of fulfilling its national mandate, KBC has remained the nation's true sport partner, having recently aired the 2023 African Cup of Nations and resumed airing the Football Kenya Federation League matches. KBC will also beam the upcoming World Rally Championship Safari Rally this Easter holiday and is in negotiations to acquire broadcast rights for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France.
What this ultimately means is that Kenya Broadcasting Corporation's commitment to providing objective, informative, educative and entertaining content to the public will improve through high-quality broadcasts. Alan Oko, Easy Friday.
And on this International Women's Day, our President, Dr. William Ruto, has a message. He says the inclusion and active engagement of women in leadership is essential in accelerating the country's progress. And he was speaking at the Moi Stadium in Embu County. That's during the celebration to mark the International Women's Day. The President said his administration will expand empowerment of women to further their full, robust and effective participation in the country's decision-making. Here's that story.
agenda and their place in the Kenyan society took a center stage at the Moi Stadium in Embu County Friday.
Kama anahitaji maji ifike kwake kwa mboma, ndio asitumie masaa mingi akienda kutafuta maji kwa mto.
President William Ruto, who led the commemoration to mark the International Women's Day, said the government had rolled out several measures that will improve the welfare of women and all Kenyans at large.
The bottom-up economic transformation agenda thus recognizes the unprecedented radical power in facilitating the full contribution of all our people in every sector, rather than just half of them.
The president said women will no longer be required to produce collateral while applying for credit under the Women Enterprise Fund, whose interest rate is expected to cap at 6%.
We will work, we will do whatever we can to support women. But I must say to the women of Kenya, you must start by believing in yourselves.
The celebration in Embu came in the wake of renewed push for gender parity in elective positions in the country.
We are reviving, or rather reviewing, the gender-based violence policy to reflect our realities, Your Excellency.
President Ruto challenged women to go all out and build on the successes achieved so far, among them the election of 7 female governors.
Ndio wale ambao wanachaguana kule mashinani kama nyinyi kina mama, mtambue ya kwamba kina mama wanaweza kazi na tuweze kuongeza idadi ya magavana kukija mwaka wa 2027.
The International Women's Day was marked under the theme Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, First Lady Rachel Ruto has urged female inmates in various correctional institutions across the country to take advantage of learning programs offered and gain valuable skills. The First Lady says the skills will be critical for the inmates' economic empowerment upon reintegration into society. Wycliffe Okech now has more details.
The International Women's Day celebrations at the Kodiaga Women's Prison in Kisumu County was marked with the launch of the construction of a workshop sponsored by the Chandaria Foundation. Upon completion, the workshop will be used to provide the female inmates with valuable skills.
The purpose of these workshops is to give the inmates skills which will enable them to reintegrate into society and to help them rebuild their lives for themselves and their families.
The celebrations were presided over by First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto, who challenged female inmates across the country to use their time at the correctional institutions to learn skills that will benefit them economically upon reintegration into the society.
As we celebrate this great day, I want to remind everyone that being in prison is not an end in itself. It can be a new platform for finding oneself and opening new chapters of life that can change the lives of inmates and other people.
The First Lady said skills such as cross-stitching should be embraced more by the inmates for its high economic value.
Since inception, the program has benefited 1,200 women who have been trained on cross-stitch, with over 7,000 lives impacted indirectly. To date, over 25 million Kenya shillings has been paid out to those who have made cross-stitch pieces. You too have an opportunity to join this group of empowered women.
She also called for more partnerships in improving the welfare of female inmates, sentiments echoed by Salome Biako, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Correctional Services.
Let us pledge to support and uplift women in our communities, workplaces, and homes.
I have no doubt whatsoever that this rehabilitative initiative will certainly help many of the women inmates get back on their feet and eventually become contributing members of the society upon release.
We are in the process of developing a departmental gender policy whose implementation shall secure gender equality and women empowerment in the service.
For Easy Friday, I am Wycliffe Okech.
And with that, it's time for us to take our first break, but we will be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. This is Easy Friday.
Hiya! It's
ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja. Star 570 hash, bukana shake.
Welcome to Sensei Institute. Mahali skills zangu ni pesa mkononi. At Sensei College, practical skills is the definition. Accredited by the government and founded on a Christian background, Sensei College offers all-rounded programs that are tailor-made to enhance your skills and give you the future you desire. We offer courses such as interior design, fashion and design, hairdressing and beauty, hospitality courses, trailer driving and defensive driving, building construction technology, CCTV, solar and electrical installation, photography and video production, electronic courses, vehicle electronics and mechanic courses, agricultural mechanics, ICT, and many more. To enroll in any of our campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru, all you need is your national ID card. Mapema ndo best. Take advantage of our monthly intake. Come to kusort na skills. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. 'Cause it's the eye of the tiger, is the team of the fire.
Julia, hapo umeuma nje ya ukweli. Hani umeuma nje nga.
I do not want to be introduced in Kiswahili, especially by Julia. I demand to be introduced in English.
And now let me tell you something. If you keep on collecting me when there is no need, tutashindana na wewe zako kwa mbako.
Mtazamaji, fahari watatu ameingia kwenye masindano. Na kama wewe mtazamaji, toa dictionary.
Classmates.
Welcome back. And on this International Women's Day, we are going to be featuring a very powerful woman who for 20 years, Salome Wanjohi, has embodied the Mama Mboga title, and proudly so. And from what she fondly refers to as her lifelong hustle, she has contributed to the growth of her family. Our senior reporter, Regina Manyara, spent a day with Salome, who is the current Ruiru Market Chair. That's her story. Take a look.
Ninamkanga kitu kama 5:30, natayarisha watoto, wanatoka na mimi sasa ninaachwa, ninatengeneza huko maneno yangu ya nyumba, alafu ninatoka. Nafika kwa soko sio mbali. Mimi hapa nafunguanga saa 1 na ninafunga saa 2 inaelekea. Kazi imeenda chini sana. Nikiladisha pesa mingi ni kama 200 hivi. Sasa sababu uchumi imeenda juu, unapata hiyo gunia waru yenye tulikuwa tunanunua 600, saa hii tunanunua 4500. Sasa unapata hata ile faida unapata kwa hiyo waru ni dogo. Hii kazi ndio my everything. Nasomesha watoto, nalipa nyumba, ndio tegemeo langu. Sisi wamama tumejiinua na tumeshikana magroup, tunaenda table banking, mwenye ako na karoni yake anarudisha, mwenye anataka anapewa, tunaenda tunaongezea kwa biashara. Na imetusaidia sana. Ninaweza ambia wakina mama washikane, wafanye table banking, sababu imetutoa mbali na tunaenda mbali. Wamama tujivunie kuwa wamama, sababu tumetoka mbali na tunaenda mbali. Bora tu tushikane.
Quite an inspiring story there indeed. Now, in the 1990s, it was unheard of for a woman to venture into some careers perceived a preserve of men. However, thanks to evolution of the country's socio-economic and political landscape, women are now excelling in prestigious professions, even in some instances outdoing their male counterparts. On the International Women's Day 2024, our reporter Junaid Karisa has filed the following report after spending a day with women working at the Kenya Ports Authority who believe in the beauty of their dreams and skills. Take a look.
At the port of Mombasa, this is Eastern and Central Africa's regional hub of business. Its efficiency is a key to Kenya's gross domestic product. The government says it is keen to enhance global competitiveness and exports to boost the GDP numbers from 7.8% to 20% by 2030. As KPA sails through the storms of efficiency, its management structure has been forced to metamorphosize over the years to accommodate the idea of equity within the human resource structure. Out of the over 6,000 employees, about 1,500 are women serving across the 13 KPA departments, something that appeared far-fetched in the 90s.
Nilikuja KPA 1986. Nikiwa nimekuja kwa attachment. KPA ikasema inataka kuajiri watu. Tunashukuru Mungu ilikubalika. Wakati huo bado kwa list niko the only lady. Mwanamke alikuwa secretary peke yake. So yeye yuko upstairs na boss. Mimi niko chini na mafundi. So hakuwa ananiona kama mwenzake. Mpaka ile choo anaenda na mwambia anisaidie funguo niende na mimi.
Huyo mwanamke sasa
hakunichukua kama mwenzake. Mpaka naambia wale nikienda chooni waniangalie mtu asiingie chooni nimalize nitoke. At one point kukatokea boyfriend. Ananiambia hao watu si wazuri. Usiongee nao. Mimi nikamwambia na bahati mbaya 2009 ndo nikapewa uhamisho wa kuja kipande hii. Kazi za upande huu si mbaya, lakini zinataka a lot of teamwork. Hakuna meli imekuja ikakosa kupakia, ikakosa kupakua kwa sababu hatujafanya kazi, kwa sababu vifaa vyote vya kupakia na kupakua vinatoka hapa.
The bottom line is passion and determination is the principal key to success.
Kazi ni kazi, bora inaweza kukupatia sima at the end of the day. Na hakuna kazi ngumu, kitu ni kujituma na kutia bidii.
America's poet and feminist Adrienne Rich once said the most important thing a woman can do for another is to illuminate and expand her sense of actual possibilities. That is the mantra for rubber-tired gantry crane operator Margaret Wangari. The mother of three recalls her nagging passion to venture into the male-dominated field from her clerical job.
Nilipokuwa jana nikija nikapana na hizi tagi master zinakuja hapa. Nikaona nikapenda sana. Nikasema siku moja hizi nitaendesha. Nikaona sasa post nimetoka za terminal driver. Driving license yangu ilikuwa haijatoka. Siku goja itoke, nilifuata mpaka Nairobi. Rudi Mombasa. Nikaja nika-apply. Kapata nimechukuliwa. Kada Badal College. Kasomea tag master miezi mitatu. Nikasoma forklift. Nimefanya tag master for 5 years. Mara niko kwa tag master, niko kwa forklift, niko kwa top loader. Zura KPHR haichagui mwanamke wala mwanaume. Kazi ile mwanaume anafanya, hata mwanamke anaweza fanya zaidi. Kazi wenzetu wanaume wanatutia moyo sana. Hata akiona kama una panic, anakutia nguvu. Mimi niko hapa for 6 years na nimejifungua na sijapata shida yote ya kiafya. Usivunjike moyo. Hata kama umeona mashini ni kubwa kiasi gani, usiogope. Jipatie nguvu, uwe mjasiri na hii kazi utaweza kuifanya.
This is the story of courage and determination. From the port of Mombasa, I'm Julie Karisa Mbele.
Another beautiful story there. Now, women in the tourism industry have been urged not to shy away from taking up tour guide jobs traditionally perceived a preserve of men. The Kenya Tourism Federation Chief Executive Officer Susanna Ongalo says men have dominated tour guide jobs as women tend to avoid duties likely to keep them away from their families. Irene Muchuma with the details as the country now marks the International Women's Day. Take
a lunch break with the CEO, Kenya Tourism Federation, at the Nairobi National Park. Susanna Ongalo says her journey to success started at Kenya Airways as an attendant before joining the Kenya Tourism Federation as a secretary and now the team leader at KTF.
The people who are coming, especially from the universities or colleges, are looking at getting into jobs and quickly becoming a manager or quickly becoming a big person. But from my experience, it is one step after another.
Susanna attributes her success to enthusiasm to learn. During her stay at the helm of Kenya Tourism Federation, Susanna has observed the gap of women in tour guide jobs in the country.
I had an inquiry sometime back last year. The inquiry wanted a woman or a lady. It was a hard sell because we couldn't trace.
It is reported that most women prefer assignments that will keep them close to families.
That field is perceived to be a male area where someone takes clients and they're away maybe for 2 weeks. Because for a lady or for a woman to be away from your family for 2 weeks, extended 2 weeks, could bring a lot of other areas to slump, like the house front or the home front. And that is why I think women will shy away from such jobs.
However, looking at the strides made in the sector after the COVID-19 hit, Susanna says women have embraced leadership in bringing back the tourism sector to life.
Sometimes a setback is not a bad thing sometimes, because you go back and you reevaluate and you come back to a space where AI now can tell you, if I make mandazi in Langata, I can sell to a number of homestays. So there's so much that we have in our hands that we didn't have in the years that have gone by.
Susanna wants women to endeavor to mentor the young generation and celebrate each other in whichever field.
Not only to celebrate and go back and sit and wait for 2025 Women's Day, actually in 2025, because you asked about 2025, is to take stock. 2024 came, we had this big day.
Irene Mchuma Udin, Easy Friday.
Now, what comes to mind at the mention of the annual off-road rhino charge competition? Well, it's perhaps a whole lot of men in the safety gear behind the wheel of 4x4 vehicles rolling on humongous wheels. But the male dominance of this popular philanthropic sporting event is now likely to change, with an all-female team lined up for this year's Rhino Charge edition in June. On this International Women's Day, our reporter Marie Yambo focuses on the Zambarau Heels on Wheels team.
The Zambarau Heels on Wheels team is a special group of women: Minnie, Agnes, Elizabeth and Winnie.
Bundu Rovers is a Land Rover club. You can see today I've come with my Land Rover. So that's where we all met, and our love for nature, for the outdoors, for camping and simply just off-roading is what grew from there. And of course then Rhino Charge presents a fantastic opportunity to take that further.
Spectators, now turned sportswomen, the all-female motorsport group have taken the Rhino Charge by storm, carving out a space in the notoriously male-dominated event.
Actually, when I started asking for funds, so everyone goes like, oh, you're going for Rhino Charge? It's a man. So I tell them, no, it's a ladies. Actually, it's a family. Actually, most people come with the families and everything, but mainly we never find women behind the wheels. There are some, but not like us now, the four of us.
We're also getting interest. You know, people, of course, wanting to talk to us,
find out why it is we're doing it. Others are coming ahead and saying, because you're doing it, we're going to support you. Come.
The Zambarau ladies have set out as trailblazers in the upcoming Rhino Charge event.
Being a first time, our biggest approach will be, first of all, not to finish the car. So as we anticipate chaos, we will avoid the major chaos.
But the kind of terrain and the landscape that we have in Kenya is very unique. You don't get the kind of rocks, the kind of challenges that you see in Kenya in many other countries. So being in the Rhino Charge for us, I think, was the ultimate.
Driving car number 50, they have their jobs cut out.
My role in this Rhino Charge on car number 50 is to be a runner, running through the bushes. Sometimes to be a bush that you have to even clear for the car. You have to make sure the car can pass through.
I drive a manual car every day. It's a shift car, like you can see this Defender. So there's no difference, not so much difference between driving this car and the car in there that you have seen.
I'm the navigator. For me, it will be about reading maps, knowing where it is we need to go to.
They all agree that what the team represents is women empowerment.
If you have something that you want to do, please go for it and go big. My passion is to see that we continue with the work of conservation, which is the main reason we entered Rhino Charge.
These ladies are breaking stereotypes on and off their big cars. Each is a career or a businesswoman. Minnie is a pharmacist. Elizabeth is an office manager. Agnes and Winnie are all business owners. On this International Women's Day, we celebrate these courageous women. For them, it's all about one message.
I want women to be more included, to be more involved actually in things that only men have been doing. If you want to go for it, please go for it. Do not limit yourself and just fly.
Mariambo reporting for KBC, Channel 1.
Never stop going for your dreams, and of course, never stop flying. The role of a Maasai woman is increasingly changing with time, from domestic chores to participating in income-generating activities. At the center of this transformation is the bead making. Now, in this episode of My Culture on the International Women's Day, we turn the spotlight on the transformative journey of bead making and its profound impact on the Maasai woman. Take a look.
In the vast Sekenani area within the Maasai Mara National Reserve, a transformation is underway. A group of Maasai women focus on eking a living. Once confined to traditional roles of homemaking and livestock care, Maasai women are rewriting their narrative. Empowered by a newfound economic opportunity, bead making. The economic landscape of the Maasai community has shifted dramatically. With limited agricultural opportunities due to the harsh environment, bead making has emerged as a vital source of income for these women.
Nashona hiyo samani na hapa nauza na ngojea mzee naleta hiyo kila kitu nyumbani.
Nimeenda kuni, makamoa tu, nimeenda melala nyumba, hakuna kazi ingine. Lakini siku hizi imekuja juu kabisa. Serikali imepea kazi. Yo mama ametengeneza shanga yake, amepata pesa yake, amepeleka mtoto shule, amenunua ng'ombe. Yo mama siku hizi imekuwa sawa.
40 years later, life is completely changed, and the men allow the women to get out of the home. Most of the women here, very early in the morning, they are getting out of the home and they are really working and really trying to empower their own family and their own children.
The project was started with the aim of empowering disadvantaged girls and women groups in Sekenani.
Nashona hiyo shanga, nauza, Hii shanga yetu hiyo nimeenda mbali sana. Nimesoma watoto kuanzia nursery mpaka university. Sababu hiyo ni shanga ya mkono yetu.
Exactly what we are trying to do here, to give them a safe haven to sit and bead. We are giving them good materials to bead, quality beading. We are teaching them modern beading.
They maintain and enhance the handicraft, knowledge and design of the famous Maasai bead and leather work. The group works with more than 100 women who are a strong pillar of their community as they are making a difference through the money they get from beading. Their main focus being supporting girls acquire education.
Maganya bemeaka pesa big. Kila siku kama mama imekuwa hakuna pesa, mebeana pesa imeenda mtoto ameenda shule. Kama mama yote na sawa, maganya pesa imenunua ya moja. Imekuja kanya. Mebea mama yote nini mloto.
Beyond economic empowerment, bead making has fostered a sense of solidarity among Maasai women. They have formed cooperatives and support groups where they share knowledge, skills, and resources.
Siku ngine kama mtoto ameenda shule, mama hakuna pesa, kikundi yangu imepea pesa. Hata kama mama amekuwa mgonjwa, imetafuta pesa imepea kikundi, hiyo mama imeendelea. Imenunua shamba, imekanya kama bulot.
With increased financial stability, Maasai women are investing in their children's education. They no longer have to choose between sending their children to school or meeting basic needs. Women proudly assert their historical role as custodians of culture and values, now extending their influence to the transmission of handicraft skills and knowledge to the younger generations, ensuring their preservation with utmost dignity and respect.
Empowering women, so we are also empowered to do the guiding, interact with people. We also empowered to do the bidding with the women. We are empowering them also. They are teaching us the old fashion, we are teaching them the new fashion, so we are interacting with them. At the end of the day, we all benefit, we get the salary.
Indeed, the role of women extends beyond cultural preservation. Vibrant young Maasai women express how the wisdom and guidance of women elders have ignited their passion for education and empowered them to aspire for a brighter future.
Doing beads because I'm also a guide, and at the same time I'm doing beading. Yeah, and I'm proud, I love it.
As the sun sets on Sekenani Plains, the legacy of resilience and empowerment carried by these women illuminates a brighter future for generations to come. Jackie Wambiru, My Culture.
Shamba ni mbili, yako ni gani? Kwenye star 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw, ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa Mei namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Ploti ndizo hizi, dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii, fuka na shake.
Ili kupata mto wa baraka kama asikiza tune yako, bonyeza star 812 star 503 hash.
Wewe, ni kwa nini unafurahia vipaji ili asiye anayetoa? Kwa nini unapenda baraka, humpendi mtu wa baraka? Nauliza, ni kwa nini unapenda mchuzi wa papa ila papa mwenyewe humtaki? Ni busara kutambua kuwa ukimpata mtoa baraka.
Kupata mtoa baraka kama Skiza Tune, bonyeza *812 503 hash. *812 503 hash.
You don't believe me! You never trusted what I can do!
You know what I think? I think that your father is right when he says that you need psychiatric help.
That is what you want, don't you? You want them to send me to a loony bin to get rid of me. You're so selfish. You only think of yourself. Ah!
You should have never kept such a thing from him, and much less from me.
It was something very embarrassing for me.
So then why, all of a sudden, you had the preposterous idea of telling that miserable
Out of
woman...
desperation. I just don't understand why exactly you and Dad had to hide this from me. What is your point in that?
No, nobody's hiding from you, Lucia.
I'll be waiting for you, huh? Goodbye now. Was that Rodrigo Zuniga, Lucia's ex-boyfriend? I know you heard me, so answer me.
A very good evening to you. Thank you very much for watching KBC Channel 1. This is Easy Friday and happy International Women's Day to all the women. My name is Betty Kiptum. Let's do the business. Business at Meru Town and transport along Meru-Nanyuki Highway was disrupted for the better part of Friday when students from the Meru National Polytechnic protested over the killing of a student in a road accident on Thursday evening. A speeding vehicle is said to have knocked the deceased at Gatobora area along Gikomene Meru National Polytechnic Junction bypass when he and the two other colleagues were skating. The deceased died on the spot while the other two were rushed to Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital in critical condition. Much apologies for that report. Now, the business news that we have for you is just what happened to the 4 billion shillings state-sponsored coffee cherry fund. This is the question Parliament is asking after it emerged that the fund that was set up in 2018 has never taken off despite many promises by government. National Assembly Trade and Cooperatives Committee says failure to disburse the funds is hampering ongoing efforts to turn around the coffee industry in Kenya. The MPs also want the government to immediately release 1.7 billion shillings to renovate various coffee storage facilities in Kenya.
In 2018, the government set up the Coffee Cherry Revolving Fund as part of state-sponsored reforms to turn around the performance of the sector. However, the fund has never taken off, despite the government spokesperson assuring coffee farmers that the funds will be released in January this year. National Assembly Trade and Cooperatives Committee now wants the National Treasury to immediately avail the 4 billion shillings allocated to Coffee Cherry Advance Fund to alleviate the suffering of coffee farmers.
And how sure is the farmer that after the sales of this coffee, he will earn his bonus unconditionally?
Chair, the total requirement for Cherry Fund is 26 billion, given the 51,000 metric tons. We only have 6.7 billion.
The legislators were on a fact-finding mission to Kenya Planters Cooperatives Union's go-down in Dandora and Sagana have also decried poor state of facilities, urging the government to immediately release 1.7 billion shillings for renovation. Currently, majority of KPCU go-downs are still roofed using the cancer-causing asbestos material, making them unsuitable for food storage purposes. KPCU admitted challenges accessing the 4 billion shillings allocated to Coffee Cherry Fund to guarantee a minimum earning of 80 shillings per kilo.
The new KPCU now is not mainly in the business of buying and selling. It should be like a platform for farmers to be able to mill and also sell their coffee.
Where is that we are not reaching in terms of market? What is the embargo between now the new KPCU and the marketing destinations?
Now we also need to change our strategy in marketing, because what we have not done, or what we have not been doing as Kenya, is to market our coffee as Kenyans, as opposed to tea. KTDA has been there. A number of local companies at the Mombasa auction and in other countries like Dubai have been there marketing the coffee. Ours was being marketed largely by the multinationals.
Gishuki Washira, Easy Friday.
And the National Security Advisor to the President, Monica Juma, is calling on leaders to deliberately invest in women. Juma is encouraging leaders to go a step further and ensure that internal policies are implemented fairly without gender bias.
There have to be very deliberate structures to deter abuse of women, to protect women, and to provide a safe space where this information can get through without any negative impact. The question, therefore, for the executive of the KRA family is, how can this key institution of our republic breathe more life to the aspiration and policy guidance of the 5th administration of the republic?
To ensure gender equality and mainstreaming, one of the things that KRA has done is that we've put in place the right programs, the right policies, starting from recruitment, promotions, appointments, and even when it comes to transfers of employees.
I want to encourage all leaders in KRA to go a step further and ensure that internal policies are implemented fairly and without gender bias.
And listed companies have been urged to develop new strategies to boost the number of women in the boardroom. The Nairobi Securities Exchange says, though Kenya's boardroom diversity outperforms the global average, companies should strive to achieve a 50-50 representation for both men and women. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, in collaboration with Global Compact Network Kenya, United Nations Women and the International Finance Corporation, today joined forces with over 100 stock exchanges worldwide to ring the bell for gender equality.
In Kenya, gender diversity in the boardroom stands at more than 36%, which is a major progress from 21% in 2017. In comparison, the global average of women holding board positions stands at 23.3%, up from 20.4% in 2018. According to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, women constitute 21% of the appointed board chairpersons, whereas the global average is 3.0. The average age of Kenyan board members is 47.6 years, down from 55.8 years in 2017.
We've introduced requirements to report on gender disaggregated data, such as disclosing the salary gap between men and women, the makeup of the workforce, turnover rate, and board and senior management diversity policies, among other metrics.
The Nairobi Securities Exchange, in collaboration with the Global Compact Network Kenya, United Nations Women and the International Finance Corporation, today joined forces with the over 100 stock exchanges worldwide to ring the bell for gender equality. NSE is urging listed companies to develop gender-friendly policies.
We need to continue expanding the adoption of gender-focused financial initiatives in the financial sector to narrow the gender gap in access to finance. At the same time, we should encourage the real estate sector to adopt more sustainable financing practices that address inequalities, through sustainable linked finance with gender key performance indicators and targets.
Bide Moema, the Chief Business Officer at NSE, expressed the commitment to accelerating gender equality in Kenya through promoting best practices and fostering dialogue on the critical role women play in business and sustaining development. The annual event is aimed at encouraging the private sector to scale up efforts to achieve gender equality in their markets, industries, and organizations by adopting and implementing the women's empowerment principles.
Now, the government is exploring introduction of tax incentives for electric vehicles to increase uptake. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u says 16 studies commissioned to identify tax policy gaps, including curbing value-added tax misreporting and impact assessment of the Hustler Fund, will be presented to stakeholders to inform future tax policies.
The government is reviewing how taxes are implemented in efforts to achieve a balance of direct and indirect taxes without burdening the taxpayer. The National Treasury CS says Kenya can tame runaway inflation by harmonizing the tax system.
We can say that in year one, completing 6 key studies that are very relevant to the current taxation issues, but also very, very important in terms of future policy design, is going to be very, very important, and it will be a good way to say that we have done a great work.
The National Treasury is presenting findings from 16 studies to stakeholders for review, which will form part of future tax policies. Some sectors facing these reviews include tax policies on climate-smart agriculture, cross-border trading and tax compliance.
Climate-smart agriculture, because it's part of our game. And this also allows us even to talk about how we can actually use our green value chains as well as climate-smart agriculture to reevaluate ourselves now that we are in IMF RSF program.
He was speaking at the African Economic Research Consortium Stakeholders Engagement Workshop on reforming tax policy and institutional measures for Kenya.
We want to make sure that by the third year we have everything in sight, and that time we can sit back and ask ourselves, how much have we changed the tax to GDP ratio? Is it consistent with the tax expenditures?
Alanaoko, Easy Friday.
Cause story brings the business to a close this evening. My name is Betty Kiptum. Have yourself a good night. Bye-bye.
I use swimming match for competition purposes. I use for therapy purposes.
Prosthetic legs represent more than just a physical instrument. They symbolize the restoration of independence.
Nimejitolea kusaidia wengine. Niko na hiyo roho ya utu kusaidia msichana mlemavu mwenzangu. Pia mimi niko na hiyo ulemavu. Differently.
The pursuit of greatness, WRC Safari Rally traverses Kenyan terrain through 5 stages. A path with diverse challenges that test the cars and the drivers. Strength, resilience, toughness, gusto, speed, and willpower against all odds. We launch with the Kasarani Super Special on Thursday, cruise through Elementaita on Saturday, and beeline to Hell's Gate on Sunday, where the winner will be crowned. Keep up with the daily news, highlights, and competitors' interviews as we race to the top. This Easter on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now talk sports. Now, with less than 3 weeks to the start of the WRC Safari Rally 2 all-lady crews have submitted their entry for the Kenya National Rally Championship division of the event. The all-lady crews of Pauline Shegu, navigated by Lynette Ayuko and Tinashe Gatimu, co-driven by her mother, Caroline Gatimu, were unveiled on Friday during a sponsorship ceremony by Vivo Energy Kenya, who will be their official fuel sponsor through their Shell brand.
The International Women's Day was one to truly celebrate for women in motorsport after 4 of them announced their participation in the WRC Safari Rally. The cruiser Pauline Shegu and our navigator Lynette Ayuko and the mother and daughter team of Caroline and Tinashe Gatimu, who announced their entries for the event. Speaking in Nairobi when they received sponsorship from Vivo Energy Kenya through the Shell brand, the lady said they're looking forward to finishing the grueling rally.
I'm looking forward to finish, just like last year. My main aim is to finish back to the podium. The way I'll take off to this podium at KICC is the same way I want to finish to the same podium at Hell's Gate.
Now that we're in the WRC, it's a great honor that we're having these sponsors on board, that we have the government sponsoring us, and also the Vivo that has come on board to sponsor us. We're really grateful. And not to forget our teammates, the 7-to-70 motorsport team.
And, we're also committed to supporting the motoring fraternity, the motoring world here in Kenya. And we don't just believe, we put our money where our mouth is. And, thanks to Peter, he has done a lot of that.
Other beneficiaries of the Vivo Energy sponsorship are teenage sensation Neil Kohil, who will be navigated by Wayne Fernandez, and autocross competitor Fahim Abdul Malik.
I feel autocross gives you the foundation of learning for rallying, and it's a step forward in the correct direction of the youth in motorsport. So I also encourage the youth in Kenya to come and join the autocrosses so that they get a foundation to step into KNRC and bring the sport to life again.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Motorsport Federation chairman Maina Muturi said that preparation for the rally are in full gear.
It's an Easter weekend, and historically, and it's been a concern raised on management of traffic. So we've got a bigger team that is going to help us manage traffic, and especially on Moi South Lake Road.
The WRC Safari Rally will run from the 28th to the 31st of March, and KBC Channel 1 will broadcast live 5 of the competitive stages.
Talanta Hela Ladies Rally Team, Happy International Women's Day. Twende Vasha!
For Easy Friday, I am Daniel Wahome.
On FIA Rally Star Program product Hamza Anwar has called for more support for upcoming drivers as he looks forward to his 4th participation in the WRC Safari Rally Kenya. Hamza has already placed his entry in the WRC 3, where he aims to make it to the podium. Speaking in Nairobi today, Hamza said that the experience he has at the Junior World Rally Championship has greatly improved his driving skills, and more rallying opportunities will add to their competitive edge. He was outstanding last year when he won the Africa Junior Rally Championship and hopes to register another victorious run this year, as well as compete in selected World Rally Championship rounds.
Yes, hopefully I'd like to go for the Africa Rally Championship. We are hopefully working with the project and new sponsors, hopefully, to bring some meat to the table so we can contest in the Africa Rally Championship. And we're not limited to also some European events. Hopefully some events in the British Rally Championship and also the European Championship, but gravel.
The stadium has opened its doors to the public after 6 years of construction. The sporting facility, with a seating capacity of 5,000, was opened today by Nairobi's Governor Johnson Sakaja.
Stadium, which boasts of a FIFA-approved artificial turf, cost 276 million shillings, but its construction was halted in 2019 by officers attached to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission after allegations that substandard materials were being used in this project. After the 2-year stalemate, construction works at the Dandora Stadium resumed in April 2023. The new stadium, which is now complete, fosters opportunities for young people to realize their potential in sports while safeguarding their future. Over 30 football teams will have a chance to utilize the facility at affordable fees.
Starting with the boroughs to the sub-counties, tuwe na viwanja kama hii, viwanja kadhaa, na najua itaweza kabisa.
Dandora Stadium is among the 4 modern sports facilities that were to be constructed in Nairobi. Nora Mwangi for Easy Friday.
Thank you, Nora, for that report. Now, as the world celebrates the International Women's Day, the boxing community in the country have launched a martial combat program dubbed Femme Combat Fest, specifically for women. The event is dedicated to empowering women in martial art sports and showcasing their incredible talents.
The event held at Nairobi Hotel witnessed the prowess of female athletes from various disciplines, including taekwondo, judo, boxing, and tonglomodo.
I'm a martial artist and I'm a karateka. And being an athlete, I've been able to experience the kind of, not inequality or discrimination that is there, especially for women in martial arts. And so what we envisioned was how do we bring women out to enable them to express themselves, because we have been there, we have faced the challenges, and we know the challenges that they face, and how do we try and address those using Femme Combat Fest.
The event, organized by Kaizen Martial Arts Kenya, also featured thought-provoking panels discussion on crucial topics such as gender equality, empowerment, and the role of martial arts in society. The aim of the event was to empower women with self-defense skills when faced with danger.
Tuweze kufikia like more people, like more ladies out there, at least to show them that we can like, apart from, because there being so much femicide, like killings everywhere, at least to show them that you can at least join something and to be able to defend ourselves as ladies. So like our aim is to create awareness. Yeah.
It was an opportunity for athletes, organizers, and sponsors to come together, networking, and foster collaborations that further advance the martial arts community. Joy Nabwile for Easy Friday.
And that report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. Have yourself a lovely weekend ahead. Happy Women's Day to all women watching. Good night. Shiksha Arora will be back right after this short break. Don't go too far.
Hisi ya kungoja kwenye *570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja *570 hash ukana shake.
Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. 'Cause it's the eye of the tiger is the team of the fire.
Julia, hapo umeuma nje ya ukweli. Hani umeuma nje nga. I do not want to be introduced in Kiswahili, especially by Julia. I demand to be introduced in English.
And now let me tell you something. If you keep on collecting me when there is no need, tutashindana na wewe zako kwa mbako.
Mtazamaji, fahari watatu ameingia kwenye masindano. Na kama wewe mtazamaji, toa dictionary.
Classmates.
I started modeling when I was during COVID time. The journey in modeling has been very nice. I want to achieve I can own my own beauty company to sell clothes for models, gowns, and also a beauty shop which sells products for kids.
I think I see almost somewhere. Well, the book is Count Your Chicken.
I saw that you could saw any other store I ever saw. I saw that you could saw any other store I ever saw.
Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some viazi rice. This is an easy recipe and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it.
I'm actually working on it right now as you speak here.
I can fire you anytime. I have the rights to. And you wait for that day. Fanya kitu ilikuleta huku. And that's work.
You think that the company doesn't have
a future. No, sir, you've got it all wrong.
It's not specified when I'll be getting my goods. That depends on the type of goods.
I think Alice told her dad that I was trying to work with her.
And you will tell me if you tried anything right?
You will regret ever meeting Mr. Kaikara. I am not scared of you.
Millicent is trying to get rid of me.
And I thought I had closed that deal.
Mfuate
Take care of that wakili.
and track him to his whereabouts.
We had a deal, kijana.
Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. Cause it's the eye of the tiger, is the team of the fire.
Julia, hapo umeuma nje ya ukweli, yani umeuma nje nga. I do not want to be introduced in Kiswahili, especially by Julia. I demand to be introduced in English.
And Carlo, let me tell you something. If you keep on collecting me when there is no need, tutashindana na wewe zako kwa mbako.
Mtazamaji, fahari watatu ameingia kwenye masindano. Na kama wewe mtazamaji, toa dictionary.
Classmates.
Differently. I use swimming much for competition purposes. I use for therapy purposes.
Prosthetic legs represent more than just a physical instrument. They symbolize the restoration of independence.
Nimejitolea kusaidia wengine. Niko na hiyo roho ya utu, kusaidia msichana mlemavu mwenzangu. Pia mimi niko na hiyo ulemavu. Differently.
I started modeling when I was during COVID time. The journey in modeling has been very nice. I want to achieve I can own my own beauty company to sell clothes for models, gowns, and also a beauty shop which sells products for kids.
I think I see Elmo somewhere. Well, the book is Count Your Chicken.
I saw that you could saw any other soul I ever saw. I saw that you could saw any other soul I ever saw.
Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some viazi rice. This is an easy recipe and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it.
Blessing, money, testimony.
What are demons?
Demons are ni maroho in a simpler language.
Mtu ameingiwa na mapepo.
Yes.
Pepo kwanza inaingianga aje kwa mtu?
The things that gives a loophole is when someone, especially who is a Christian, gets to sin, and someone who is not as a Christian maybe engages into an altar. An altar that then serves a certain purpose.
Watu wanaingia kila shimo, watu wanaingia kila mahali. Kuna jeshi nataka kuomoka at any expense. They don't care what will be done. They don't want to read the Bible, but they want results that are biblical.
You don't believe me! You never trusted what I can do!
You know what I think? I think that your father is right when he says that you need psychiatric help.
That is what you want, don't you? You want them to send me to a loony bin to get rid of me. You're so selfish. You only think of yourself.
You should have never kept such a thing from him, and much less from me.
It was something very embarrassing for me.
So then why, all of a sudden, you had the preposterous idea of telling that miserable
Out of
woman...
desperation. I just don't understand why exactly you and Dad had to hide this from me. What is your point in that?
No, nobody's hiding from you, Lucia.
I'll be waiting for you, huh? Goodbye now. Was that Rodrigo Zuniga, Lucia's ex-boyfriend? I know you heard me, so answer me.
毕竟信任，在那个年代，对我而言，是想都不敢想的奢侈品。
拿这个型号做什么？
最近掌握的核心多了，就有些不太理解的地方。咱们是国家重点保密项目，可是设备实在是太陈旧了。
可是你太单纯了。
我可以在这待一辈子的。 是你到现在。
Then your IQ is not functioning.
Sitagi sina na sitagi.
Open your eyes.
Kizungu yake ni ya kuongea kwa mdomo. Hana haifiki kwa mfuko yake.
Na silisikiage kwa pia atakupeleka Ndubai.
Labda nipeleke hapa Isili.
You look very smart.
Hapana, hii imesonewa hapo Katonzweni, hapo tu sokoni.
Hii ni yako.
Umenipatia tu.
Hiyo ufanya nayo ile kitu wewe unataka.
It is rumbling you.
Alonso, just forget that woman, please. It's not that easy, Remigio.
There are moments in life, Sergio, when we must bet all or nothing. You know, I think it's about time for me to become a widow.
You don't know me yet. But if someone ever betrays me, I will take it as far as I can go.
No, I don't believe you. Go look for Betsabeth. Look for her. I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't like the fact that you're cheating on her with me.
I saw him with my own eyes, with Malena, the wife of my father. It would have been one thing to cheat on me with another woman, but with her? With that wretched woman? No way, I can't take that. I can't forgive him. I learn a lot from
A very happy International Women's Day to you, and it's been so inspiring to see the stories of women run throughout the news. And with me on set, I have three incredibly talented, powerful women who will be sharing their stories and, of course, giving us some words of encouragement and inspiration for the younger generation who are watching. So I'm going to be introducing them right away. Let's get right into it. This is Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora. You can interact with us on social media at Shiksha Arora, at KBC Channel 1, and the hashtag to use is Easy Friday. So I'm going to be starting off with the lady who is right next to me. Her name is Engineer Grace, and of course she is vying to be president. We absolutely love that for you. So welcome, karibuni sana, Engineer Grace Muthoni Kagondu. You know, there's a lot to her name, including all the different accolades. In fact, during the break, when we were off air, I was asking them, what is the simplest way to introduce you? Because I think I would take an hour to introduce each and every one of them based on their accomplishments. So it's just so inspiring to see the level of education, the level of experience.
Yes.
It is just an honor to be with these three ladies. So thank you so much, you know, Engineer Grace. It's a pleasure having you. And happy International Women's Day to you.
Happy International Women's Day to you.
You look lovely in purple.
Thank you, and so do you. Thanks for having us here.
All right, of course, and then right next to her, we have Avente Mwongera, of course, Daktari as well, who is known for her beautiful qualities. This, by the way, a fun fact, in case you didn't know, she started her career as a journalist, a sports journalist at KBC. So welcome back home. It's a pleasure to have you here many years later. Now you're an author officially, and you write about conservation, climate change, and it's so brilliant to see all the things that you're doing. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Thanks so much, and happy International Women's Day to you too.
Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we have Dr. Sarah Olembo. She is a Kenyan with over 30 years of experience in agriculture, of which 17 were actually with the African Union Department of Rural Economy and Agriculture. And of these 10 years, she was the Assistant Director of Plant Health and Phytosanitary Administration based in Cameroon, where she provided technical leadership to African countries in multilateral trade assistance projects regarding sanitary and phytosanitary requirements for plant health. So if I continue to go on,
I know
we will not finish. So which is why I want to just say karibuni.
Asante sana.
Thank you for being here, and
Thank you.
It's a pleasure hosting you three women on International Women's Day. You know, as we talk about why International Women's Day is so important in your view. I'm going to start off with you, Engineer.
International Women's Day, it's a day of celebrating
It's a day of celebrating what women have accomplished over the years. Women have brought so much into the world, but sometimes we take it for granted.
Absolutely.
They're our mothers, they're our sisters. They're expected to do ABCD. But putting a day aside to celebrate women, for me, especially this year, it's about celebrating inclusivity, yeah, inspiring inclusivity. And for me, it is it's very significant because many a time, women are not, sometimes they're not recognized for the spaces in which they can occupy.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, kind of feeling like you're limited to this other. So now we are being told the world is available for you. You don't have to be limited because you're a woman. You can only do A, B, or C. You can actually, the world is at your feet. Yeah.
I love that.
I think it's a beautiful day to celebrate.
What about you, Dr. What do you think? You know, what about all the different things that women have done, and what does that mean for you in terms of being a powerful woman yourself?
Thanks so much. I think I'll follow into what she has already said. It's about celebrating and appreciating what women have already done. Like, for example, sensitizing different people in the society, the role that women play that goes unspoken, and also the crucial role that they play in terms of complementing each other.
Right.
So in the society, we cannot have monopoly of ideas, but also this is the part of both gender, both men and women, complementing each other in fostering development in the society, because it starts from home, where we have brothers, sisters, sons, and all that. So when we complement each other, we are able to start development. Now, I feel like today when we are celebrating women, it's about sensitizing the issues that are, or highlighting issues that are affecting women and they are not spoken. So it's important for such a day for these issues to be brought to the fore, and also to have suggestions on how they can be addressed, so that now we can have a happy mother who links to a happy home, and that fosters now success in the community, which starts now from the family to society, to community, then to society, and then globally. Because now if happiness is from home, where every person's voice is heard, their contribution is appreciated and acknowledged, then we can dare dream about development. So it's a day for me that it's an opportunity to talk about the challenges and opportunities that are there for women, then to set a pace for the younger children also to step in and continue with their development and contributing constructively to the development of our country, our continent, and our global, because now we are getting old. So we need to have those who are younger than us step in our shoes, but also to understand that their contribution matters a lot.
100%. Very well said. And what about you, Dr. Sarah? What are your thoughts on this particular matter in terms of, you know, how far women have come? And we still have a long way to go before we officially achieve that world, society where we're equal. What about you? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, for me, I agree with what they have said, but in addition, I observe that this change is to be able to determine the progress made in all these areas that they have listed, and to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination, but particularly by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of countries and communities. So rural women, you know, for me is key. Secondly, we do commemorate this day, the 8th of March, to honor work that has been accomplished, and also to raise awareness about gender disparities and discrimination, as well as promote global support for women. I think of that and looking at ourselves, and then the age gap that there is between us and our children and our grandchildren, I feel that this is a day also to highlight those areas of need, especially in the younger population and the future generation, the gap that exists, especially in the age and the realities of life, that we should be able to mentor those younger generations to be able to take shape and also to fill the gaps that we observe that are existing so much, the disparity and the distance that there is between us and them. Because their time is very different, and also their desires and aspirations are different from ours. We lived with our parents at home, and they mentored us very well, And that's why we have become resilient and doing what we are doing. But our children, sometimes they go to boarding schools right from the word go. And so they have no realities. Most of them have forgotten the languages, so to speak. They have forgotten the food that we eat. They can't relate to that. And so you find them eating junk. They are liking these, pizzas and hamburgers and things that they buy. And that is the reason why we are here, to bridge that gap and to see how do we mentor them so that they can step into our shoes.
Absolutely, and I think mentorship is one of the key areas that, we really need to focus on moving on, because as you've said, bridging the gap is something that is so important.
Yes.
Teaching these values that have been passed down from generations, from our forefathers, from our grandmothers, and of course our ancestors as well to us. And now it seems like this is something that we need to pass down to the generations to come. And how exactly do we do that? We have conversations with them. We have I think talks like this, and we kind of bridge the gap just through conversation. So very well said, Daktari. And what do you think, apart from the fact that yes, there is a difference in the mindsets, there is a difference in the perspectives and views and opinions of the older generation and us? That's one of the challenges, I would say. But apart from that, what are the challenges do you think we have as women, especially in maybe the tech and the science industries? What do you think some of these challenges are that women are currently facing today? We'll start with you, Engineer.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think when you mentioned about the challenges that we have as tech women, the first thing I was asking myself is, okay, do tech women, science women have different challenges than non-tech women? And I thought the answer must be, and I can tell you the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely there's a difference. And the reason is simply because of the numbers. The number of women in the tech, in the sciences are not many.
Right.
Yeah, we were just having a discussion with the Engineers Board of Kenya CEO, and she highlighted, for example, in the engineering sector, we are about only about 8%, 10% of the women of the population of qualified engineers, and that
I feel like engineering is actually one of those careers where it is very rare to see a woman at the top.
Yes.
So you being here and of course just doing all the great things you're doing. Congratulations, firstly, engineer.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a long journey to becoming the first vice president of IK.
Yes, brilliant.
Of course, aiming for the next level of president. Yeah, it's been a long journey, hard work, a lot of hard work. They always say that for a woman to move one step, you need to work like 5 times as much. It's just so. So for me, the journey has been to leadership has been a very interesting journey. And let me just give it as an example. I began. I first of all got into an organization for professionals there, because we have got Institution of Engineers of Kenya. We also have the Architectural Association of Kenya. All these are associations where we have got people in the built environment as members. So that's how my journey started. I got into one of the positions. I got into a secretary. And while I was in secretary, then I got elected into the chairperson of AAK Engineers chapter. And actually that is where my leadership skills started honing.
Right.
And we did accomplish a lot, and the issue of mentorship was one of them. I did a lot of mentorship because that was one of our agenda items that we have to do. So I used to go to colleges, to universities. I remember going to Kenyatta University, University of Nairobi across the road, JKUAT, and other schools, just to mentor the. Of course, that time it was they're mixed. They're both men and ladies. So we are just mentoring them about engineering as a career and what they need to do, how they need to prepare for it, what are the subjects they need to excel in, and what to expect if they want to leave the college. So a lot of mentorship was taking place there, and we also did a lot of advocacy. I was very passionate about advocating for a better place for engineers, especially those who are upcoming, because we realized that engineering is a kind of a field that is not very well placed, if I may say so, in some sectors. And therefore, if you don't speak about it, then our issues don't get addressed. Yeah. The issue of collapsing buildings, sometimes people don't even know why do the buildings collapse, yet we have engineers.
Right.
Where are they? And you have to explain that the reason they're collapsing is precisely because the developers are not using the skills of engineers. So that kind of civic education. And we also used to advocate for better practices for consultants.
Okay.
I remember at some point our consultants were paying business permits.
Yes.
And we had to lobby and say that they already pay for their practice license. They also have their, they've got other tools that protect them from their work, the risk policies. So they don't need to, again, pay for the business permits, which is for like a trade, you're doing a normal business. So that was, we were successful in that, and I think many professions benefited, even the medicine, the doctors, the architects, and the quantity surveyors. So it was a cross-cutting kind of advantage, and I remember that that is actually how my leadership journey continued. And I want to say that after my stint at the Architectural Association of Kenya, and I want to say that even that leadership, I was being mentored by very serious engineers. And I can tell you my mentors were still men. How did I get women to mentor me? Yeah. Because they're not there. So I want to, I give, for example, Engineer Ashad Khan, who was one of my mentees, a very renowned engineer. Actually, he's done a couple of very interesting buildings. He's highly respected. He was one of my mentors.
That's amazing.
I had, at Howard Humphreys, actually I was working at Howard Humphreys Consulting Engineers. And we did a number of flagship projects in Nairobi, the Times Tower, CFC Bank, and a couple of others. So basically, the people who are my superiors, my principals, at that time were still men.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
But do you think that's changed now? Because, of course, we have people like yourself now.
Yes.
So I'm sure there has been some sort of progress when it comes to, I mean, I wouldn't say balancing the numbers, because we're far from there, especially in engineering, but I feel like there has been some progress.
There has been some progress, and today, if you want a mentor, if a young graduate wants a mentor from the university, it's very easy to find a woman engineer to mentor her, and I'm always available. I'm one of those who has put out my hand. If you want a mentor and you want to grow in your career, I'll show you. Even if I can't, I'll tell you I'm not available. I'll show you how you can proceed about it.
Love
so
that.
I do mentorship a lot. And it's not as difficult as it was those days.
Okay.
And I must say that even today, when we were only 5 of us in a class of 65, today we are about 15 or about 30% of a class.
Good.
So things are looking up for the ladies.
Things are looking up and things are moving.
And leadership is one of them
growth.
too. And now we're moving to leadership.
Great.
Yeah.
And what about you, Dr. Sarah? What are your thoughts on this? When it comes to tech, when it comes to science, when it comes to agriculture, what would you say have been some of the challenges that you have witnessed along the way in your journey?
Many challenges in agriculture,
Yeah.
especially for the rural woman. There have been very many. You know, for decades, our women could not do farming because seeds were taken away from them. I know seed is life.
Yes.
So when you take away production from the half, 50% of your producers, what do you expect? So the food insecurity, the hunger, in spite of the drought, and those other natural disasters, I think we did a bad thing to... Are we okay? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was rather unfortunate that had to happen. And so we lost a lot of crops, we lost a lot of biodiversity. We just laid back. And you can see what has happened.
Right.
To revive those seeds and to bring them back, especially in the face of climate change, is quite a very formidable task.
Okay.
But I'm glad that because when I was at African Union, I made connections and I introduced this agroecological organic initiative, which is still running in most of the countries because it's at the AU level. All the countries are subscribing to it. And my key flagship out of that was to bring in back the farmer managed seed systems, which are the domain of the rural woman. And that is what she knows, that is what she trusts, because these diseases have been proved through generations and generations, and they are sure of them. If you go back to COVID, what happened? There was no movement.
Right.
There were no flights. There were no markets. But because the women had seeds in their houses, in their pockets, that is how we survived in Africa, because we could access food in spite of what COVID had done to us.
Yes.
And so that farm managed seed systems has provided space for the rural woman now to come back into production, and also it has given them space to be able to voice their needs at that high level because in that program, also in the organic agricultural program, we have got a program that is called African Women Leaders in Agroecology, where we do mentorship, and she's one of the mentors. I'm a mentor, and I'm proud to say that 2 of the ladies that I've mentored are CEOs now, in their own capacities. One, she's doing climate change and sustainability program globally. She's the CEO. She's Sally Wanda. And then I have another one called Judy. Judy Libaisi is in Eldoret, but she also has a CEO. Today she was on KTN, I think. Yes, with the governor of Kakamega. Because of these land issues that women cannot access land, she has devised a method where she does vertical farming in small, cages and, areas where you still can produce at least food for the family. And so I feel proud that I've been able to deliver that and brought these 2 women into the policy space. And that's what we are trying to encourage, that if women are able to speak about their own problems themselves, then only then can they be heard.
It's very, very
they
empowering.
cannot delegate. They cannot delegate.
Absolutely empowering. And, you actually mentioned that Dr. Mongera seems to be a mentee as well for one of, I guess, these...
A mentor.
A mentor, I beg your pardon. So what about you, Dr. Mongera? We've talked about the challenges, and maybe you can tell us about some of the growth that you've seen, the progress that you've seen in your field, and how things have changed over the years.
Okay, thanks so much. I think a lot has been done by those who have been there before us.
Yes.
And we've come to contribute to solutions to the challenges that are already there. And that those that are emerging because also of the technological times that we are in. These are all ball game of paradigm shift in terms of technology. I remember during our time, like when I said I started my career here at KBC, I was so passionate about this and that in terms of different aspects of news, there's sports, there's business. So I was so passionate about sports. Then I did it for a number of years. Then I said, now this agriculture, and we are talking about the backbone of every economy, and anything and everything that we do, we need to have food on the table.
Absolutely.
Now, when we are talking about food on the table, how is this food grown?
Yes.
We are also talking about this food insecurity. Africa is always known to have food insecurity. There is a lot of aid on this and that. It's about food. Then I asked myself, as a journalist, how can I contribute my skills to change the current situation whereby we are talking about perennial food insecurity? How can we use knowledge? And knowledge, we know knowledge is power. So how can I use the skills that I have to tell a story that can empower the farmers, can also influence the policies, and also can make them agribusiness dealers to also know how all of them can play their role effectively to change the dire situation of Africa having perennial food insecurities.
Yes.
So I shifted, I said, okay, let me be the one to tell the stories, because it's all about hunger, it's all about bizarre stories about Africa. And I said, okay, what can we, don't we have any positive story in Africa to talk about even innovations? We see even an innovation like M-Pesa, it came from Kenya, for example.
Right.
We are talking about fertile soils. We have fertile soils, and we have farmers who are so committed to do farming. We can see even there's a lot of stories of GMO. That's a story maybe for another day. So that means that most of the investors would want to invest in Kenya, in Africa, because of the fertile soil, the strategic positioning. Now, looking at all these things, as a communications person, so I looked at myself and how can I help to tell the story, work with different people, so that now from a point of understanding, we are able to change the story of having hunger throughout, and also be a source of exporting some products that can be found in Kenya, in Africa, for example. So that's when I started now telling the story of Africa in terms of reading the research, like people like Dr. Sarah can write. When they write their research, because they are researchers and the rest, when they research, they write their stories, they write their report in technical language that is only left for them to understand. Now, how about the farmers who are the key beneficiaries? To understand that. How about the policymakers, because they need to understand what is the implication of this report and what are the recommendations that the government need to do, because also there is the commitment of the government to have policies that are working, operationalize these policies, so that now we can meet different international agreements and conventions that we have subscribed to, and various sustainable development goals. So all this happens when there is clear, effective communication that is simplified, that the farmers will understand. This research finding says that this type of soil is good to grow this kind of crop.
Yes.
So when they understand, and now it is strategic. If it's about soil that is good for cassava farming, for example, or maize or beans, there's no grappling with the issue. But now they'll go ahead and plant the crop that is suited for that soil.
Yes.
If it's about technology, for example, there's a lot of people who are giving their stories of success, stories of change in terms of the kind of businesses that they are doing and the crops that they are selling. They have in surplus. In one region, the other region, they don't have such crops because we have in different seasons. So using technology, there are various applications that people are putting in their stories, and now through the knowledge of using this application, packaging their stories, uploading there, they are able to change the narrative, to learn from each other, to know this season or this month I have this kind of crop. The other farmers from the other side, they have these vegetables. So through the use of various digital applications, platforms, farmers, policymakers, agribusiness, they are able now to know who is selling what, who has what, so that now there is the reduction of post-given harvest losses because of now selling the surplus crop.
That's amazing.
And the farmers now, they are able to tell their story of what they need, the kind of seed that they need. The story of Farmer Managed Seed System is about the indigenous seed. Where I work full-time, Africa Biodiversity Network, it's about, it's part of the story is to empower the farmers to stand and tell their own story of using the indigenous seed system, which has been proven over time to be resilient to even drought, to pest, and all that. And now they say the crops that they are farming through that system, they are able to, they are nutritious, and they are resilient to even diseases and drought and all that. So with all this, it's me now to help the farmers tell their stories. When they tell these stories, now the policymakers are able to understand the testimonies that are coming from these farmers. How is it helping? Because the policies is about documenting and operationalizing that is working for the farmers and scaling it out.
Yes.
So with all this now, it's about having strategic communication, knowing exactly what is required, what are the researchers saying about the solution to this. Then simplifying this language from the researchers so that now the farmers also can understand and then the policymakers can understand what is it need for them to act and to play. And the role that they need to play, because now I cut across communication, policy, and advocacy on
Very
the continent.
interesting, actually.
So with all this now, the challenges that I was experiencing when I started my career, I'll speak the same language my fellow panelists are talking about, lack of mentors.
Yes.
So with all this now, I naturally have a thirst for knowledge. I like reading widely. And like her, I was also mentored by men. And then using the skill and the knowledge that I have as a journalist, as a communications person, then I use that now to understand the language, the science jargon, and then simplify it using my knowledge and skills as a journalist, as a communicator, to package the story using different products, producing radio programs, documentaries, brochures, newsletters, magazines, all this, so that now it can meet to the needs and reach to different audiences and speak the language that they understand.
Absolutely.
Now with that to address or to contribute to the solutions and to mitigate the challenges, also now I mentor. Like now, for example, I'm the treasurer of the Association of Media Women in Kenya.
Amazing.
I also mentor upcoming journalists so that now they can also identify their niche in communication and use their skills to contribute to solutions that are affecting the world today. At Africa Women Leaders in Agroecology, where we serve with her, we mentor young girls who are, in science, but now to sharpen their skills, to document their stories and tell their stories and help the different communities that they work with to tell their stories, because now we believe in people telling their own story, how they know it, and and when they want to tell it.
Absolutely, and I think with that, like I have to say that there is a lot that has been said here, which is quite inspiring. It is eye-opening, to say the least. We could have this conversation for much, much longer, but obviously due to time restriction, we do have to wrap it up. And maybe literally in 10 seconds, as we wrap up, I would just like each of you to just wish our viewers a very happy International Women's Day, because my director has been telling me that we need to wrap up. But I want to give you that opportunity to just say, you know, thank you for watching and thank you for just being here. So maybe you can just thank the viewers for, I guess, being here, part of KBC Channel 1.
Thank you very much, KBC Channel 1, for giving us this opportunity to be on stage with you. I want to thank you also for engaging us so effectively this evening. And my parting shot is that as we celebrate International Women's Day today, women are now making progress, and they are happy to partner with our male counterparts in making a difference, okay? Creating innovations that transform the society for enduring impact. That is the message that I want to leave the audience with. And as I stand here today, I'm vying for the position of President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and I have the support of, when I vied into Vice President, I had the support of very many members, and I fulfilled my mandate. And I'm now looking to the next level, because leadership does not know gender.
Absolutely.
In the time of inclusivity, leadership does not know gender, and therefore, if you believe in it, if you know that it's time for us to change, LSK has made a statement by electing a woman president. AAK has made a statement, they have a woman president. IQSK have a woman president. I do believe that IEK is not going to be left behind. So on March 21st, vote for the lady, vote for Engineer Grace Muthoni Kagondu. I'll be there for you. Thank you.
And with that, we have to say goodbye. Next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much for watching this particular show. We've been talking to women leaders, we've been talking to engineers, doctors, and you know, it's been quite an inspirational conversation that we've had here. So International Women's Day officially ends here. And Shiksha, Arora signing out. I'll see you next week. Good night. Good night.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.